You wouldn't lift, right there, right?
Okay, guys, let's start. I kind of moved this a little bit forward because I have 5 people who are starting the project with me and in their senior senior design class with Brian and also with myself. But you're gonna notice that, guys, it's not gonna only target at least 5 of your colleagues. No, it's really one of the most important labs in GIS. Why? Because now we're going to learn how to create your own data and how to work on data, how to fix data. What we did so far for the last 2 months is that you just started just creating maps, adding some stuff to maps, doing some representation, which is important, of course. But now we're going to work toward to creating data and also creating your own personal database. And this is what your colleagues will be doing. And you're going to find it very, very useful once you start working in a company and you're going to create a GIS database that you want to share with your company or colleagues, or you want to have a meeting and you want to show that in your meeting. So today we're going to do more than one thing. We're going to start first, create our own mapping files. And we're going to do it different ways. Number one, we're going to create our own database. And the database will include, number one, existing data sets. So let's imagine, guys, that you have some data sets. You're going to collect lots of data from different areas, from different libraries, and you got data sets you want to build in your own database, and then fix it and work it and then share it. And also, we're going to add, sometimes you get data as a database file or CVS file. Not CVS, the pharmacy. No, it's a file, which is a database which can be read. In other words, a table. Let's put it this way. Let's put it as a table. This table should have some kind of coordinates. X. So we're going to learn how to map a file from Excel. Let's imagine that I asked you to send me a file of your survey work you did with Dr. Electric 2 years ago. And you had an Excel file with the data. I can go and map it. So that's number 2. Number 3, we're going to store in our database a file or a drawing or a map from scratch. To put these all together and we're able to unify these together, we're going to put it in, as I said, a database. In our work in GIS, we're going to use a specific kind of database. Can somebody tell me what's the name of this database we used in the last few weeks in our labs? What do we call it? Again, loud. A geodatabase. Awesome. It's called a geodatabase. Anybody remembers what are the different components of the geodatabase? What do we call it? Each one has a specific kind of things that has the same type.
You mean like the file types?
Not the file types, under the geodatabase. You're going to find some stuff like lines, polygons, points, rasters, things that are under this geodatabase. In other words, I'm going to put this geodatabase as a cylinder. This cylinder under it, even look at the files that you just installed, you're going to find probably some stuff under it. Do you remember the name of that? Anybody? We had a name we talked about, we had 3 labs talking about this. Starts with an F. Feature classes. So under these we have feature classes. Feature classes are a number of features that have the same thing, either points, rasters, lines, polygons, and you put it inside the geodatabase. The beauty about the geodatabase is that you can put it in one place, zip it, and send it to your clients in one piece, and they will open it as a complete data set, complete database. And that's the beauty about geodatabase. Another thing which we're going to be learning today is that some functions will be shared along the whole geodatabase. So this existing data set, we're going to put it as a feature class. This guy, I'm going to put it as a feature class. We're going to create a brand new feature class in a geodatabase. Can you do it in other ways? Yes, you can. Yes, you can create shape files like in your homework. I'm asking you to do that. You can create other types of files. A layer file, which has all the formatting that we did. You can do all. So let's start, guys. And let me read here the exercise, and let's see what we will be doing. So, spatial data forms. Spatial data forms come in a variety of formats that can be managed in our catalog. So I'm going to use our catalog today, mainly, and then the second part of this lab, I'm going to use ArcMap. And later on, map and ArcMap. These forms organize spatial data into feature classes. A feature class, again, is a group of points, lines, polygons, and you can add this rasters as well. That represent geographic objects at the same time. They're all points. They're all fire hydrants. They're all buildings. They're all cities. We did that, right? Shape files are the same, but they are a standalone thing, file by itself that you can share. Only cities, for example, you can share this with others. So that's why I find lots of shape files on the internet when you download files. But the geodatabase is one more, you can say, comprehensive type of database files. So a shapefile is a single standalone feature class, but a geodatabase is a container. That's why I put the GIS bits here in this cylinder shape of a geodatabase, in which sets of feature classes can be stored, including vector and raster datasets. So let's start now with question 1. In this exercise, you're working with the GIS department in the Kansas Department of Transportation, and we're going to do some work in Kansas today. You are part of a team deciding whether the city should convert its shapefile and coverage data to geodatabase format, which we'll do today. So we probably have downloaded and unzipped the file that you had in eCampus. We didn't do that. Please do that right now. And open also a Word file, because you're gonna again snip and just attach your work showing what we did and answer some questions in this Word file. So as we do like we did before. So extract the Kansas datasets from your eCampus. Start ArcMap. Don't start ArcMap, just start our catalog. So let's open our catalog. Don't open from ArcMap. I'm not a big fan of that. You want to do it, you can do it. But let's start here. I'm gonna go here. I shared my screen in Zoom. I'm gonna go here and under ArcGIS. Let's start Arc catalog. And we're going to create our new geodatabase. We're going to name it, we're going to add files to it, and then we're going to create our own data. And then the second part, we're going to edit and add our own drawings inside this geodatabase. So, as usual, we're going to just spend a few seconds to open our catalog. Probably have the same. Okay, so I'm going to expand. So I have here, it's ArcGIS Lab 8. Wow, we have 7 labs before. Wow. And let's just expand the first one, which is A. So I find here some data sets, probably shape files. We have 3 types of, we have something called parcels, fire hydrants, and a CSV, not CDS, CSV. CSV. Yes, I need some medicine. Anyway, so it's a CSV file, which is a database file that can be read by Excel. And we have here under my data, let's create our own geodatabase here. I have it already, so I'm gonna just delete it. So let's start now. We're gonna create our geodatabase and let's work on that. So in our catalog, go to Lab 8, create a new file geodatabase, and let's call it citydata.gdb. Let's do it. I probably know how to do it now. We're gonna do it with you. It's all right click, right? So I'm gonna go to the folder where I want to put my container. When I want to put my cylinder, I'm gonna right click, and you're gonna find something called new, not properties now, it's new. And these are all the different types of files, formats, things that you can create as brand new. Again, we're doing our own data now. We're going to create our own database that we're going to share to our colleagues and our colleagues. So we have 3 types of databases, something called file database, person database, and server database. The difference between 3, file database is the one that you can be only working on. Person is that one, more than one person can work together, but each one has to work by himself. A server database is being put on a mainframe computer or a server computer where you can all work on the same file all together in the same time. We're going to do the most simple one, which is called here the file database. So enter here, file database. So you're going to notice here, new file geodatabase, and the extension for it is .gdb. Next step here is to rename it to citydata.gdb. Can you rename it? Well, so easy, right? Click again, and rename it. Okay, guys? So now I created a container. It's an empty container right here, okay? So that's the second one. Now I want to import data that are already there. Let's imagine that you downloaded a bunch of shape files and you want to import these shape files to your data. Remember something, we learned how to do some coordinate systems. So we want to make sure that the coordinate systems are united. This is what one thing will be taken care of when we do it. So again, I'm going to right click on the geodatabase, the container, the cylinder here, and click on import. And we're going to do it one by one. And once you import something, it's going to be a feature class. So you're going to say here, import a feature class, which is single. Or if you have multiple, you can do that. It's going to open a wizard. We're going to do lots of wizards today. So this is the import features that you want to now import and put it as part of your cylinder. Imagine like this is your cylinder here, and you want to put some alcohol inside. So you import the alcohol, you get where it is, and you get also what is where you want to put the output. So let's do this together. So the input features here. I'm still in the Florida, last one here, so let's go up. So go to ArcGIS Lab 8, the one you just installed. And you're gonna find here fire hydrants and parcels. So let's use control and, no, you have to do it one. It's a single one. And add. So in parcels, you're gonna find arc, label, polygon, TIC, different things inside your parcels. So let's, did I go so fast, guys? So what I want you to do, whatever files, whatever things you find in this folder, I want you now to install it as a geodatabase. I'll do it again, guys. Let me do it again. So I'm going to go here to city data, right click, import. Let's do it feature class multiple, just for the sake of change here. And I'm going to go here. And let's now pick up where to go. Let's show you again where did I go. In your ArcGIS lab that you just unzipped or extracted, double click on that. Go to the first one, the data of the first folder. You're gonna find here parcels, double click on it. You're gonna find different parts of your parcel. With your control, select them all and add, and click OK. Say again. With control. Oh, you've selected one. Cancel. Cancel. Right click. Import. Import multiple, not single. Import multiple. If you want to do it one by one, you can do it single. Import multiple, so you can have more than one now. Here you go. And then let's do it again, guys, and let's add the other one here. So I'm gonna go again under my geodatabase, right click, import, feature class, let's put it multiple as well. So I added these parcels. I'm gonna go up, fire hydrants, and add, and also OK. And now let's look at our geodatabase. It has some of the files that we created. So if you click on the plus button next to the cylinder here, you're gonna find here parcels, fire hydrants, parcels labels, parcels polygon, and parcels TIC. So under parcels, we have like a parcel has different feature classes that are different. One is to have 2 points, we have 1 polygon, we have 1 line. Okay, guys?
Yeah. I got a quick question over here.
Then, guys, for these new feature classes, yeah.
This is from.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. What are you doing for your class? Oh, yeah.
Okay, try to do it off the class note.
Yeah. I mean, the one that we're doing right now, like, it's supposed to like update until the semester.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. The next step, just rename the parcel polygon to parcel polygon coverage, and the fire hydrants. Let's name it together. So this one here, I'm just gonna go here, put here, click, and then click again. Fire hydrants. It will not accept spaces, so let's just put here an underscore to change the name. And for this one here, just go to parcels polygon and change the name here to just the word parcels. Okay, guys. Now, the next step here, I'm trying to move fast because I want to bore you guys. Now, let's do the other one here. Check the art catalog metadata and write the name of the city and the county. Again, once we have new data, we need to just give ourselves some kind of reminder that what's this data, how did I create it? So whenever you create a new data file, just create a metadata. And metadata is you go here to any of these, let's say here for the fire hydrants. You're gonna find here under description for any of these, you're gonna find it probably empty, has nothing. For the fire hydrants we do have, let's see the parcels. So let's just, for fire hydrants, let's do a little bit of editing. So there is some information, I thought there is not. Maybe because it was a folder file. So let's write here some added information. This shapefile was added to our geodatabase on Friday, 10/23/2020 by, put your name, and under credits, let's put WVUTech. And once you're done, guys, just click save. So UNA can now add as much metadata you like, which is a reminder for you. And when you share the data, another person can know who did it to work on that. And when we create a new file, we're going to also add some metadata to that. Okay, let's move on. I want to move fast, guys, here. Now let's create feature class from the Excel file that we have. Let's look at the Excel file or the CVS file, that CSV file that we have, and let's create an XY data out of it. So let's first click on this file, see how it looks like. So there is here something called water valves, which is this file here. Description, it has nothing. It's just a file. Let's preview it. So you can see it's an Excel table, and it shows here in our catalog that has X, Y, R, water ID. So it has some information about some water valves. We want to map this file, which is just a table. So, as usual, to do that, we go here to the water valves, and we want to create a drawing after it, or a map after this. So I'm gonna go here and right click. I wanna create a feature class out of this table from your X, Y tables. First thing, you wanna make sure that you have some kind of coordinates. So here the coordinates will be the state plane coordinates of Kansas. So I'm gonna be using that. So I'm gonna click here from X, Y, and again, I'm gonna have another wizard. Am I losing anybody here, guys? So here comes the problem with coordinate system. We need, have X, Y, but based on which coordinates? What are the coordinate system we have? So we're gonna assume, yes, similar to the coordinate system, they both gonna use the same system like the layers that I have. So is the value of X is the easting? Yes, that's my X, or one of these 4 parts of the table. The rest will be attributes in your table. So it's gonna be X. This will be Y, which is the northing. Is there any Z? No, we don't have Z value. You can have X, Y, Z values in your table if you're doing some kind of topographic maps going up and down, if you have some leveling information. So the output, where do you want the output to be? So let's browse here. We want your output to be inside the geodatabase. So I'm gonna go here, my data.
For lab 8. You're at lab 7.
Oh yeah,
You're at lab 7. right
lab
now.
7? Yeah, sorry. So let's go up. They all look the same, I know. Let's go up here to lab 8. My data. And by default, it's a shapefile. We don't want a shapefile. We want it to be a feature class of a geodatabase. So I'm going to go here. So I find here city data. Double click on that. And you want to rename it in a different way. Let's rename this water underscore valves. Am I good now, or still very important step missing? Coordinate system. You have to define what are the coordinate system for your file here. So I'm gonna go here to my coordinate system of input coordinates. And here I need to fix the coordinate system. Well, I have to guess, or I say, you know what? Probably it has the same coordinate system as the other layers. So I can go to this guy here and I can import the coordinate system of a file that I already have. So instead of searching throughout these old coordinate systems, the thousands of coordinate systems I have, let's imagine that here I have files there already. Let's figure out, is it the same coordinate system? Let's make this wild guess and see. So I'm going to import and pick one of these because I brought them with their coordinate system, which is state plane coordinate system. So let's choose, for example, fire hydrants and add. So let's figure out what's the coordinate system here. So it's NAD 1983, that's my datum. It's state plane Kansas North. The projection is using a Lambert conformal conic, so it's projected coordinate system. That's why I have X and Y. I don't have longitude and latitude. So this is the information. Let's see if it's going to work or not. Click OK. Anything else we want to add at this point? We're good. Let's click OK. And once it gives me this green tick here, I probably now have a new feature class that I brought from a table. So let's go here. So I have here water valves. Let's look at the description. So I have points that were created from X and Y from your coordinate system that you have. One step you'll be doing later on in your work is you can put them all in the map and see if they fit or not. Because maybe the coordinate system is wrong and it goes somewhere else. So I'm going to be sure. And in this case, you need now to go here under your description. And here comes now the edit of the metadata. I want want you to add now your metadata, all the information that you have with your name, with the name. What are these? These are, this is a file that contains a fire hydrant, water valves in a city in Kansas, with the date, and most important, you need to put here what coordinate system we use, which is NAT 1983, State Plane Coordinate System of Kansas North. So Kansas State North has two zones, North and South. So here we're using the coordinate system, the State Plane Coordinate System of Kansas North. Write as much as you like, guys. It's up to you. It's for you yourself, and when you share the data with somebody else.
Can you give me the not one second?
Go here, and then you go get the,
So it's that. Tell me again what you did. Okay. Okay. Here. Report. One of these. That. That. So it puts you in the system that you're going to import. Use it for your new mapping file or new feature task. Okay. Yeah, so make sure that you have it right. You have it. Well. It's connected again, yeah. Connected to here. Where is your file? Yeah, you're right. Well, here we go. Okay. Well, yeah, I have that eight. Double click on that eight. My data, geodatabase that you just created. Open it. Save now. So now you're ready to have it inside the view. Yep. That's good. So you have it there already. Right? Okay, guys. So in our catalog for the water valve, write some metadata, summary, your name, date, coordinate system. Please snap that. That will be probably your first snap, and copy to your Word file as your answer to the first question. Okay, guys? Now, these guys here who work in the project, they want to draw some bus lines. So, where will we draw it? We need to create a brand new layer that we will start drawing our bus lines. So this is the next step here. Create from scratch a new feature class in the city data geodatabase. Let's call it water lines. What type of feature class do you think for the lines should be? So answer this question in your word, write your answers. So let's do this together. Let's first create a brand new geodatabase that's going to be from scratch to your geodatabase here. So again, I'm going to do it again and again and again. Going to city data, right click, new, feature class. You can create a shape file. You want to create something that you're going to do your new drawing, which we'll also be doing in question 2. So here, this is another wizard to start your feature class. You're going to start it from scratch. You're going to name it. You're going to name it. You're going to, my words. You're going to do it whatever you like. So let's call this, what did I ask you to name? Name it water lines. If you want to give it an alias, you can call it Joe. Give it any name like. I'm going to leave it not closed here. And then, here the question I asked you, what type of feature class you have? I have here different options. Polygon, line, point, multi-point, multi-patch, dimension, or annotation. We're going to try to, as much as we tend to cover all these different things. But for what you guys know so far, what will be the type for water lines? Answer this question, guys. So it's lines. If you're like me, stuck in transportation, sometimes you want to add something called M values. M values is measurement values. For your lines, you want to add measurement. I'm not going to do it right now, but if later on you're working on a bus line or a road and you want to add the measurements, you add also this M. If you're doing some topographic mapping with Z's, you want to add a Z value as well. Same thing. Everything you're going to do here is going to add to your new layer or your new data file. So let's keep as it is. Let's not tick any of these. And it's a wizard, so let's go one by one. It's going to ask me what is your coordinate system. Let's do like we did before. However, it's now inside my favorites. So I'm just going to pick it up in my favorites. I'm going to assume that all the data I'm going to have, since I'm going to put it on the previous layers or the previous feature classes, then I will put here the same coordinate system. So I'm going to use the same NAD83 state plane coordinate system of Kansas and click next. Okay, here comes the word that something called tolerance. Since you're not working with CAD, you're working with GIS. And GIS sometimes has some rules that will enable you to map things much better. Tolerance is simply a value of distance or a radius of distance. If you put 4 or 5 points in this same radius, the computer will use it as 1 point. It's like a snapping option. In GIS, when we're drawing some stuff, let's say we're going to draw some points here. Put some fire hydrants or lines. If I put 2 lines so close together, the computer will add them as 1 line. It will add them as 1 line. This is called tolerance, which is similar to the accuracy that you had in surveying a few years ago. How many years do you have in surveying class? So this class is called surveying 2. So let's keep as default. I just want to show the meaning of the word tolerance. So it's in foot, like you can see, actually it's in inches. So if you put 2 lines that are inches apart, the computer will say, yeah, that's just 1 point or 1 line. So let's go here and accept the default. Click next. This is related to storage. When you work in a company or DOT where you have computers, you want to figure out how you're going to do the storage. Let's keep this as default. It doesn't concern us much as students now, but you're going to learn more about it once you work. Let's keep this also as a default. And then here comes the really interesting thing. Now we're creating a brand new layer. We can add as much values of attributes as you like. And also, we're going to tell the computer this attribute. What value should it take? So let's add some attributes here. So the default attributes is the object ID, which is the ID of everything you're going to draw. It starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the second thing, which I can see here, the shape. The shape file, so here's the geometry. Let's add also we're doing here lines. So let's create here line type. And this will be different fields in your attribute table. So later on, when we add a new line, we can write this line. So let's do it here. And also, you're going to figure out, okay, what will be the data type? Should it be an integer, short integer, long integer? Here, let's use text. Let's use the word text. So the type here will be either, for example, main, partial, whatever type of water lines that you have. You can add as much attributes, and later on when we draw the lines, you will be able to understand how can you, you will be able to understand here how can you add also some attributes within your line. The guys you having my project, you're going to add, for example, a bus line. So you're going to add the bus number or the frequency, things that you're going to get from the internet or from the agency. You're going to get the direction, range, whatever information about this line that you need to put for the line. Is it easy, guys? So you can add as much as you like. I'm just going to keep it as it is right now, and then let's finish. So I have now let's just preview it. It's going to show me nothing, of course. So I have a preview now of the layer or the data. I have now the set of data that I can start later on adding the data, drawing, or what we use a lot in ArcGIS, the word called digitizing. In early times, there was a job, I know nobody does it anymore, a digitizer, a GIS digitizer, used to work in the companies. He used to bring all paper maps, and he had something similar to a mouse, and he digitizes these points into the computer. Let's imagine this is the layer now, and I want to put all the water lines that were created a century ago. So I go to the water company, give me the maps, I put it in a digitizing table, and I have this, and I'm going to talk about this in our lecture part. And it has something similar to a mouse, and he starts digitizing the lines, and then it turns into a map in ArcGIS. Right now, we have less of this, but if we had better times than these, usually do a field trip to the DOT, the GIS department DOT, and they have a huge corner with some machines, scanners, that does this digitizing either manually or automatically. What we'll be doing right now is some kind of digitizing. We're going to add something to our drawing that's already here. Hey guys? Okay, so create from scratch. What types of, so answer the question here. What type of class? You did that already. A field is defined by name, the data type, and properties, which are the columns in the attribute table. Also, an attribute domain is a list of range of valid values that an attribute. In the newly added feature class water lines, we want to add the following fields. We want to add, and I closed it already, but I can still fix that. So here, I want to add a number of new attribute fields. Something called install date. Number 2, line type. We did line type already, and we add text line type. And let's create a domain as well. Domain are the values it should take. So let's do the first one thing, and let's say you want to add something now to your water lines. So simple. I'm gonna go here to water lines, right click, properties. You're gonna find here fields. And like we did before, you can add a new field here, installation date, and here the data type will be definitely a date. So you can add a field when this was installed, as to put some historical review. For you guys, when you do your buses, you can say year of the bus, or the date this bus doesn't work. Anything you can put as your field. Okay guys? So we did that already as well. We're almost done with question 1. Let's do this kind of domain. Create a domain. For this one here, I put here the text here, which is the line type. I want to create line types. Let's put here 3 types. M for main, DL for domestic lateral, and HL for hydrant lateral. So let's create this domain. So later on, when we add a line, we can figure out, yeah, this is main, this is lateral, and so on. So let's click here, OK. We have now all these attribute tables. And if you go here, water lines, if you want to preview, go down, instead of preview geography, you want to preview a table, I have a table, doesn't have any data yet, but I have now my object ID, shape, which is created by default. Then I added the line type, shape length, and the data installation. So to create now this kind of domain, and this domain is specifically to your geodatabase. Let's create a domain, and this domain will be specific to our lines here, water lines. So go to your city database, geodatabase, and again, right click and properties. Lots of things are right click, properties. If you don't remember what I did, just right click and properties. And you're gonna find here domains. Let's create a new domain. So let's call this domain water line type. And right here, whatever description you are, different types of water lines in our dataset. And then let's give some coding. We put it as text, remember? So we can put whatever text. So let's do it exactly like it said to us. So if you put numbers, you can put minimum and maximum numbers if you have integers. But here we have code. Let's put here M. Yeah, change it from long integer into text. So it's coded values. If it was integer, you're going to have this range of numbers. And that's the main of values you can get. But since it's text, I can go down here under the coded values. And let's type here M for main, DL for domestic lateral, and HL for hydrant lateral, and apply. Didn't I enter the main? No, yeah, this one. So I made a mistake here. Let's do it again. Text M. So I created the domain. Now I need to attach it to this specific feature class. So I'm going to go here to my feature class that I just created. Right click, properties, and I'm going to go here to this line type. I'm going to find here the word domain. Click here, and I have now under my domain list water line type. So now this field will take only three values. That means either M, an L, or H, whatever number that is that I just put. Okay, guys?
Can you read it which bit that?
Which part?
Adding it to the.
Sure. So to add it to your feature class, this is the feature class I have. I right click, properties. Under the tab that's called fields, which I added, remember when we added some fields? If you don't have a field with text, you can add that. I have a field called line type text. If I click on it, I'm gonna have here different properties of this field. And one of them is domain. And this is only specific for a geodatabase. I can do this in a geodatabase. And I click here, I drop down, I find here water line type. Once I'm done, I'm now here, apply and OK. Well, before you close that, guys, snap and copy to your Word file. Just to Remind yourself that you did a great job here until this. Okay, your choice, guys. You want to break and then move to question 2, or move directly to question 2 and try to finish fast? Want to break? Let's move fast. Okay. Now, I know the last question was boring because we're dealing here with database and letters. There's nothing like you had in the previous labs where you draw yourself some stuff. Right now, we're going to do that. Let's draw some work together. And now we're going to, once we create the container where we want to start drawing, let's now do the mapping or drawing of the new things. So we're going to use something called the edit menu. So from our catalog, let's open our map and let's add all these layers that we created. Let's see what we did. If we did a good job or a bad job. So I'm going to open my arc map here. And as usual, I like to put them side by side and just drag and drop. So I'm going to create a brand new map. So I have here a brand new map. Put it side by side. And I want to just go ahead and with the control button, no, I have to do it one by one. Okay. And just let's drop and throw all the layers, whatever these layers are. You can later on remove if you don't want. And as a good tradition here, keeps points, lines, polygons. Points, lines, polygons. So nothing is hidden. So I'm going to do this for you guys. So that's my lines. Put your lines here. Okay, so I'm good now. So number one, you can see here the valves. Do I have the valves here? Yeah, the valves look good. They fit in the map, so the coordinate system is right. And I have a folder. Sorry, I have here a layer, which is which one here? Water lines. That if I close everything now, I have nothing because it's an empty layer. That's nothing. I didn't draw anything yet. So let's now work on the editing. So using the edit menu, I'm going to show you what's the edit menu, how we're going to get it. We will create water lines in the newly featured class we created. So this exercise, in the subdivision of the city, a contractor has laid out water lines, including an extension to a main and a line connecting the main to the fire hydrant. You'll use locations of water valves and hydrants to digitize the new water lines. So an ArcMap, add that as the newly created geodatabase. We did that. Zoom to the upper left corner of the city, as I'm going to show you right now. So let's just turn it on again. Let's just do the fire hydrants, the parcels. And here, on the upper right, upper left part of the city, let's go to this area here and let's zoom to this part here. And zoom again. And let's now create a newly line, water line that connects any of these points. I'm just going to do it by example. I'm going to leave you to then wait to do it. So we need to create something called an edit toolbar, which is a bar that has tools related to drawing, editing, deleting any features you have. Probably you don't have it, and I don't have it as well. Let's find it. So if you go to customize, and this is the menu to customize your functions and buttons. and go to toolbars, you're going to find thousands of toolbars, not thousands, tens of toolbars in your, and we're going to use some of these in the rest few labs. You can't imagine how powerful these toolbars are. And go here to the editor, and you're going to find here a new bar, which is this guy here. It's closed, meaning that's gray. I cannot use anything yet. And you can dock it anywhere or keep it whatever you like. Some people like to dock it here. Some people want to put it next to their drawing. It's totally up to you. And that's called the editor toolbar. So the editor toolbar, the main thing to do in the editor toolbar is to draw. So let's do this. So label the water hydrant and valves as per ID number. So let's first add some labels to figure out what we need to. So I'm going to go again and zoom once more time here. And for my fire hydrants, let's add a label. I'm going to go to properties. I'm just going to add the hydrant number and the valve number so I can start putting a line between them. Wow. Yeah, here we go. So you're going to find a tab called labels. Tick the label features in the layer. Figure out what features you want. I want here my water ID. And click OK. And for the water valves here, let's do the same. Properties. Just wait. Here we go. So also for labels, label this, and the label field will be also your object ID. Yeah. So you're gonna find small numbers now above your fire hydrants. This is just a way for us to show you how can you pick up which fire hydrant and start now drawing using here. Now add the editor toolbar, which we did, and let's start editing water lines and create different water lines, snap to valves and water hydrants. What's mean by the snap? Snap is an option using the tolerance that will tell me, just like exactly you have in your CAD, tell me I want to start from a point or an edge or an intersection. So it gives me some help when I want to do digitizing. My eyes are not perfect, of course. So it helps me to start and end when I draw a line or a polygon. So let's do this. So in the editor, the only open word here is the word editor. Let's first start by going to snapping. This is the snapper, and add here the snapper toolbar, which is another smaller toolbar. I'm going to put it next to the editor. And in the snapper toolbar, by default, everything is activated. Point snapping, end snapping, vertex snapping, edge snapping. You might remember this from your CAD, exactly like CAD. So at this point, you just need to snap points only. So turn off the other three, and you want this only open, which is the point snapping. Then, next step, let's start now editing. So I'm going to go to the editor and click on Start Editing. Once you click Start Editing, everything will start opening. Let me take away this video here. Let's put it down here. And this, on the right-hand side, you're going to find a new menu called Create Features, where you can now start drawing your own features in a map, which is beautiful, right? Things that it's very, very powerful. So it's going to ask you first, okay, which You need to create lines, new points, valves. You want to create a new polygon, a new parcel, whatever you like here. So I'm going to go here. Yeah, I want to create water lines. So once you click on the water lines, it's going to open, tell me, okay, what is your template here? Do you want a line, a rectangle, a circle, an ellipse, or just freehand? Freehand is like when you have your tablet and you have your pen, you can draw freehand the road, draw freehand the river, but we don't do that here. We're just going to create regular lines. So let's just, by default, it goes to line. And once you click on line, see the cursor, it turns into this cross. And with snap, if you just move to any of these points, it will turn into a circle like this. And now you can start drawing your lines. Let's draw first line. And let's just, like you do in your older puzzle books here, let's just connect all the valves. Once you're done and you're done, just double click. It's gonna turn into cyan, select it, and now you can also add some features to it. Yes. Okay, let me show you. Jacob here says that this menu on the right hand side didn't show up. It means that you need to activate the new creation tab. To do this, if I don't have it, I'm going to turn it off. I want to start this like you have exactly. Just put your cursor on these buttons here and you're going to find something called create features. Click on create features, it's going to open it again. Okay? And talking about this, creating features, we now have this selected line here. Let's add some values to its attribute table. So we're going to find here another button called attributes. Click on it. This is my first number one item in the new water lines layer that I created. And I can now go ahead and add some values. For example, the installation date, I can add today's date. It was installed yesterday. Yes.
I had my map up and Gary draw my lines and then it just that.
Up here,
Get back again. Yes.
Lord, how do you do blood?
Oh, on header. There's an
And my numbers are big.
Add it again.
page with two columns, lines. And then switch to one.
And here.
And then when you get to your last
Seems something went wrong with what happened here. What happened here is that you added the layers together. This happens when you have yeah, I think what happened is that you had a problem when you added the code. So everything was here and the point was somewhere in there. So you put them all together as two small points. Yes. Yes. So you can now you need to enter. Start editing. Start from step again now. Start editing. Pick up the lines.
What did that do?
that changed.
Because ordinance says you do it.
Giving out stuff.
It was showing you.
It seems like you put some point somewhere else. I don't know.
What, this is water line.
Okay.
So guys, we added now a date. can you add also, what else can we add? The line type, and that's one thing important I need to add. Let's say this is a main line. So you go here, and I add M for main, and this will be the first record in my attribute table in this layer. Let me show you some other stuff. So snap and copy what you did in your Word. And let me show you some other things we can do. Let's edit the parcels. And let's add a new parcel. Let's add a new polygon and show you some really cool stuff. I want to cover as much. I can spend 4 labs just working with edit. But I want to cover a little bit of things that we can do. So what I want you to do, so now you can now go here to editor, save edits. You need to save things, otherwise it won't be saved. Now you're gonna, when you say save edits, it's gonna be added to the data, not just the drawing. And stop editing. So now I have a new line. And by the way, if you go here to your water lines and you change the color, let's switch here, water pipes. And I can add some, you're experts in that now, add some kind of representation of the lines to show as a line. Yes, question? Yeah, what's important for me now is for you to understand other than just show you. Okay, guys, now before I let you go, guys, let's work a little bit more. Let's add a new parcel. And that's fun, guys. I want to make it fun. I know, it's hard. Okay. Let's add, and this is not part of the exercise. I thought I should do it just to make it more interesting. Let's add some realistic work to this Kansas. It's a city in Kansas. Let's add a background file. Let's create some kind of transparency. And let's add a new parcel. Just gonna add one parcel and then let you go, guys. Okay, guys? So I'm gonna go and add a background. So go here to the add data, add the base map. And I would prefer here some, each one of these. Let's just add some, which one here, guys? Imagery, just the first one. And let's add a background file, a base map for Kansas. Just to give some kind of realization of what we do. It's just not just, so you notice here, I can see some of your computer is faster than mine. Now these purple or these pink layers. So it says here the different, just saying no, it's just, we're good with it. So you can see there's new parcels that are there. Let's build a new parcel. But first, it looks very ugly. I want to see the actual aerial photo. So let's create some transparency to this kind of layer. So I'm going to go to this green parcel layer and let's turn off, or this one here. I want to create some transparency to it. Right click, properties. I'll make it a little bit transparent so I can see below it. And the fourth tab, which is called display, you're gonna find here some word transparent. Let's make it 60% transparent. So now you can kind of see the parcels, but you can still see the background below it. So let's add, just gonna add one parcel, showing you some of the options we can have in this kind of drawing. And now let's edit. Let's zoom to this house here. And let's add the parcel of this house here, or these two houses together, and show you some of the options we have in the editing menu. So I'm going to go here to editor, start editing. And don't forget to click on, let me see here, the create features. I want to create parcels. And let's also use some help from the program. So you're going to go here, auto-complete polygon. So it's going to make use of the edges that are already there to create a new polygon. So I'm going to use here auto-complete polygon. So it's going to close the polygon based on what I have already. So let me show what I mean here. And instead of snapping here, let's use the snapping edge. So now when I go to any edge, it's going to help me by selecting an edge. Also, let's make use of something else. I'm just going to span here. And then let's go back here. So I want to create a square that goes from here to here, parallel to the line that's existing, and a line that's parallel to the existing, and then close the parcel together. So I'm going to start here with this edge. And now I want to make a line that's parallel to a line that I already have. So I go here. You can see different options for drawing. One is straight segment. If I want to create a curve, you're going to do these guys when you create a curve for turning buses. And this one here is something called trace. So I can trace whatever edges that I have. So let's first say I wanted to find a line that's parallel to the edge that I have. I'm trying to cover as much information I have in this editing menu. I'm going to do more next week. I'm not going to do something new next week. So I click on the edge I want to go to parallel to, or this one I want to go perpendicular to. And I'm going to right click, and I find here different options, either length or parallel, perpendicular, different things that will help me draw my line. So let's say here perpendicular. So now the line is perpendicular to the line that I've chosen. And let's say my parcel has a 150 feet of length. So I can right click with some length, click on length, and let's put here 150 feet of length. Okay? So I created the first edge of my parcel. To the second edge, click here, and then double click. It created closed, it used the other two edges as a border to my new parcel of the new house that I did. There are lots in this editing. I'm going to cover this edit this week and next week. Once you create, guys, one parcel, create your last snip, put it in your Word file, and have a great weekend. I hope I can see your faces. It's Friday, you want to go party, your restaurant, social distancing. I'll try to cover much more in editing by next week, but you can see now how fun it is, guys. By the way, these skills you're learning here will make you $10,000 more once you have a job. You put this in your resume.
I wish I had this. Because I did a lot of this with old maps. But I had to do it for long. I had to AutoCAD.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's amazing. So guys, next week we're going to do more of this adding new features, and also we will learn how to delete, to edit, to work a little bit more on these features so we can have exactly your bus lines and your stations and things that you'll be doing in your project, but also for any of you guys, it's an important skill in GIS to know how to edit and fix your own data. So now you have your own data set that you can now share with others. So you have guys a homework. The homework is so simple, it's similar to their project. You have, let's imagine that M-WVUTech became so rich and we have a shuttle bus for you guys to go to the interstate or go to the station down there. So you want to create a new layer and add your two bus lines, creating an edit with two lines going from tech, using the same data set we had in lab 2. You go from one point here at tech, you end up at the station, figure out which route you're gonna get, and this will be a training for your project as well. Okay guys, have a great weekend. See you Tuesday. Remember, some of you will present your project idea on Tuesday, 4 of you, like we said yesterday.